2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour for June 28th, 2019. I am Dave Slusher, joined with Andrew Barnes and Chuck Tomasi, and we are going to have some fun. Doing it a little earlier in the day. It's been a wacky month of June. It might be a wacky entire summer. So there may be some, for example, the fact that it's a holiday weekend in the U.S. Next Friday means no show, et cetera, et cetera. So we may move back and forth up and down the clock a little more than we normally do. But first, let's get the longer introduction. Let us go alphabetically with Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew Barnes, developer advocate at ServiceNow. I am your representative as a developer into the ServiceNow product management team. I have been doing ServiceNow development for coming on 5 years now. I just love the platform. Building integrations, custom apps, managing your development lifecycle and moving between instances, some of the specialties, and just delighted to be here today. Chuck.
Hey, I'm Chuck Tomasi, Senior TPMM at ServiceNow. I engage the developers much like Dave and Andrew do with videos and meetups and webinars and all kinds of stuff. Been a customer since 2008 to 2010. Been an employee since 2010. So I just passed my 9-year anniversary earlier in June of 2000. It goes so fast. And much like Andrew said, I love the platform. I've been doing software development for 35 years, over 35 years now. I gotta learn to recount that somewhere. And this is the fastest way to get business solutions built that I have found yet. So it's just a lot of fun, custom applications, integrations, developer lifecycle, the whole thing that Andrew just said. Very, very similar mindsets here and having a good time. So looking forward to seeing what we're building today.
All right, and I am Dave Slusher, also developer advocate with ServiceNow. Been here. We're getting close to my 6-year anniversary, which is very similar to my 4-year anniversary in this role. Industry burnout. I think the average burnout for this position is 18 months. So I'm on borrowed time. But we, Andrew and I went to the DevRelCon in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago. So we met a bunch of developer, basically our equivalent at other companies. And it was so funny because we would be talking about how we do things and how we manage something. We think, oh, we just write an app. And then we realize, well, we're talking to the guy from Twitch and they can't just write an app in Twitch. My frame is so ServiceNow specific that I think that I realize the thing that they're advocating isn't always the thing you can write your own tools in. And I was like, oh yeah, we just wrote an app in our own product and then we did all the stuff. That's how we manage our meetups. I'm like, whoa, but we don't have that available. We have your app.
The Discord developer advocate that was there was like, yeah, that's not really a thing that I can do.
Yeah, I know. So we had to really, because, and so like a lot of our, like when we talk to people, we're talking to other ServiceNow people. So our frame is so ServiceNow that it was like an adjustment to talk to non-ServiceNow people.
And to dial it back a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait a minute. If there's a Discord developer advocate and there's no development in Discord, what does that job do?
There is development, but there's not like building arbitrary applications
like writing a plugin or things like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And when you're talking to API company like that,
Twilio,
they're you're not building an app. You
can't just
smacking it together. They're
all right. We don't have
it's a little different.
We don't have our usual ritual. At least I suppose we could, but I'm not going to. And so I'm drinking a fine Speedway coffee. Dunkin' Donuts coffee from Speedway that was brewed yesterday and reheated. That's good.
So I have been holding on to this one for a while and decided that I would just have a drink early today. Today I am having the check, please.
This is the hardest core moment in the history of this program.
So it's 11 o'clock and I'm gonna have the check, please.
It's just after 8 a.m. here. I'm still working on my vanilla chamomile tea in my Carlton Fields mug that they gave me at the Tampa developer meetup a couple years ago. So thank you very much for that.
All right. So today, what are we going to do? We are going to, so speaking of building our own app to do a thing. We have an app that manages our meetups. So if you don't know about the developer meetups we've got about over 50 developer meetups in different cities all around the world. And those meetup organizers helped us and themselves build an app to manage those meetups. So the end users don't see this, but it is really useful for me and for the meetup organizers. And we want to do a little work on that app today. So I don't think we've shown this at all on the show before, but basically what this does is it's got two really main components, which is the first main component is be able to check in. So some of our meetups are at locations that have security, and they need a list of who the people are before they show up. And then the security folks check them in. And so one of our things is a check-in page, which allows you to hand a tablet to a person at the door and say, here's our list of people. It updates automatically, and all you have to do is click them, and then they're checked in. So that's one of the portal pages we have. Another one is content. So whenever we create content or meetup organizers create content, they can share this content with each other in a repository in ServiceNow, which is, of course, is a knowledge article in the back end. And that's presented on a portal page. And these are two separate pages, and there's no connection between them. And so one of the things we want to do today is unify that experience for the meetup organizer to have a single portal for meetups that can get to all of the things that are relevant for the meetup organizers, including their reimbursement step that comes after the meetup.
Right. And the point where we're at on this, just to be clear, is we are at the point where we have said we want that to exist. We don't even have like the pay, so we're beginning at the point where you would say, okay, I want a thing. I'm not even exactly sure what the thing is. So we're going to do the whole thing, like the talking it out, figuring it out. And then like, we also have a hard out. So we're going to see what we can do in about 39 minutes. So let me go ahead and I will share my screen.
All right.
And in fact, I honestly I'm blanking on if this has ever made an appearance. Is it quite possible this has never made an appearance?
I don't think it's made any appearance whatsoever.
All right.
And the end users may see this at check-in time. I know Mike Sockman was passing.
I'm going to do a very quick,
a
very quick demo of this right here. So this is what we're talking about. And so in fact, the Phoenix, every bit of this was developed by us along with Meetup organizers. So this began with Todd Volpe in Tampa. He was the original author, and then we kind of took over the code and did some stuff to it. So let's pick Noida, for example. Our friends up in Noida. This is all, and so you get this thing, and you
turn off your video. It'll make
turn off my video.
My part of it a little easier.
All right, hold on one second. So hard to do when you're sharing. Stop video. There we are. All right. So so this is kind of what you see, like somewhere in the meetup, like Andrew said, it could be in the case where you have an access control building, which is absolutely one of the prime use cases for doing this. You give this to the security guard, and then they look and see if you're on this list, which is where it's one of the interesting things about Meetup and their APIs is, so you have all that very granular control over what you share in Meetup, and so the API only gets what matches the granular controls you've put it. So some people don't share their whole name. Some people don't share their picture or their email address or anything. So it's one of these things, particularly in that it's helpful to have an actual picture. That's a picture of you. Like you could put Pikachu in there, but like when you're trying to get in the building, it makes it a little easier. If you could have a weird username and a weird picture, but you're going to have a hard time with security guard saying that's me.
You better be dressed up as Pikachu.
Yeah, exactly. So this exists, and then we check in, and then on the back end, that kind of drives us. So the interesting thing here, and then Andrew wrote the part that actually takes all the information from the ServiceNow instance, and what is it, one day after, like 24 hours after, or
something like
on
that.
A scheduled job the next day, we'll take the RSVPs, who showed up, who didn't, and it'll push all that information back. So while Meetup is like the primary interface for everybody else, like you don't RSVP on our ServiceNow instance, you check in, the organizer will do the check-in stuff, etc. We have actually most of the information about the attendance, and then although Meetup is the second copy. It's a interesting structure there. So let us go over here. So now we're starting. We actually have a thing called Meetup Home that I think was originally what we are going to do was use that check-in app. So I'm just going to leave the thing called Meetup Home. I'm going to just delete this, and we're going to start at a blank page. So let us talk now, Andrew. So you've got the kind of the clearest vision of this. So we want to have basically a portal page that's got maybe a list of our content. Do you want just links? Do you want a little bit of live data? Do you want the list of upcoming meetups?
I think the closest thing to what I want is the existing content one with
Okay.
a widget for the upcoming events.
So let us think about that. We could probably do this
Because
like a widget for
it's
the
got
upcoming
most
event.
of what I want is the most of the content, and it's got the, it's got a couple of widgets for the most popular content and things. And if that just had a link to the events and a way to get to the events page, I think that would be like what I want, at least right now.
What if let's just try a little bit of an experiment here, because let's see if we can get away from like a lot of the stuff we do in here is like, okay, we'll start and we'll write a widget. It's like, oh, what if we don't want to write a widget? So let's start with, let's see if simple list widget can get us somewhere down where we need to go. All right. So we've got the simple list. Let us and now it's been so long since I have done one of these. Here we are.
Pencil.
It has been a while since we've worked on a portal page on the show.
And I
saw something come up.
Pops up. What is
I was envisioning while you're trying to click on that, I was envisioning the default page where you've got a series of badges and then some useful information. We could have some simple click it once and it goes to your content list or goes to your meetup list or goes to your check-in list. These are the things that people are going to be doing when they get to this homepage. Is what do they need? Well, they need basic navigation to get to one of those major components that they use all the time, and maybe a little quick dashboard of what's useful right now.
Yeah, and
popular stuff.
And that's almost what the content page has. The only thing it's lacking is the events.
The content page
and navigation. Like that's one of the main things we don't have right now is navigation. That's right.
So basically, okay. So I'm actually probably
there we go. Okay.
So
starting with this,
but those don't work. That's the key thing.
Okay. Well,
I don't think events works.
All right. So let's not start with the blank page. Now the question is, what is this thing here?
What page is that?
Yeah. Let me find. Here's a question for you guys. How do I make the zoom controls get out of my way?
You can drag them to the side, but you can't make them fully out of the way.
Oh, I wish I could. Let's see if I can.
You can
that explains how they got 2/3 of the way down my screen yesterday.
All right, I've dragged them to it. You can in fact drag them to another monitor. That's beautiful. All right. So now the question will be, can I find this? It's just called Portal. That's possibly not the best name for it. Let's go. Actually, can I? If I go over here, can I do the edit?
So you can do the edit on a widget here with the, what is it on a Mac?
Control?
Like
yeah, I want to do the
option.
What I want to do is go back to the page. I want to get to the page designer, and that's live, so we don't want that.
Page designer, I think it was the first tab. It says page designer on your browser tab.
Okay. So let's close this thing
and open that page.
Now let's see. The problem being, it says portal. Can we find that Meetup Home?
Meetup Home. Oh, is that not it?
That's the one that that's the one I'm already on. So what is this guy called? Content
is that the current homepage?
This is like this Meetup content portal is what this is.
Okay.
I think it's called Content Landing because I see that in there.
It seems like a reasonable name.
There we are.
Content Landing. Look at that. And that's the actual page we were looking for.
Title is content.
It's amazing. We are the, by the way, between the three of us, we are some of the most amazing service portal gurus in the world. In our lack of ability.
Someone's already drinking.
All right. So this is where we got. So like Andrew says, this is actually pretty good. If we were able to, let's say like this create content, let's say we were able to take this guy and just drop either somewhere over here or where you think
like in the ServiceNow documents over there, just adding another,
just add it
widget
underneath
just like that has the events and make the events button work. Like that might be what we need.
All right. So let's drop that there. Or did not.
You need a.
Do I need a container?
Container for that.
So that's a simple list. Oh, this is in the same container. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You could drop it in the same container.
Yeah, you could drop it in the same container beneath there.
That's what I tried to do. I may have.
I think you were in the parent container at that point. Yeah.
Hey, you had a green plus. What's the deal?
It looked like it tried.
Let's try this again. Drag in the component. Oh, I put it there and see.
Okay.
That's
you're having a bad day when your drag and drop doesn't work.
Here's a question. Am I not in the right scope for this?
After 3 failures.
Content sharing. Let's try that. And this is one of those tricky things where from the page designer, it's not.
You can't tell. Yeah.
It's not clear what. All right, let's try this again.
You probably need to reload that whole thing, but it magically worked.
Now look how many bullets I have. All right.
I would reload that whole page and try again.
Just do a massive refresh.
Yes. Like
let us see what we have on this reload. Simple list. All right.
Now
let's delete some guys.
Now kill some things. Yeah.
Delete that. All right. Now that was weird. Actually, were we adding it and then just not seeing it?
I have no idea.
That would be really spooky weird if it did.
That would be bad if it added it but didn't render it because it was in the wrong. Like that would be bad.
All right, let's get rid of the.
Yeah, in fact, delete them all and then just add a new one. I think it's the safe strategy.
Just to make sure that we're not getting something that we don't. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Simple list.
Friends and neighbors, check your scope first. All right, simple list
and save or re-render. It's thinking. It's thinking.
Yeah, just the other possibility was it wasn't the scope problem. It was literally
just thinking.
And the amount of time it took to think, add, re-render was greater than
your patience.
All right.
There are a lot of things that are greater than my patience. So we'll add the simple list. Now we got to go back over to here because I don't off the top of my head remember. No, we're just adding meetup events. Is that right? That's what this one is event meetup. It's called meetups.
Meetups. Yeah. Meetup event.
Event is just a terrible word to use.
Yeah. It's so
ubiquitous.
It's sad. It is sad that is the best. That is the best real word. I mean, it's the terminology they use, but it's so terribly overloaded in our particular case. And let me go ahead and let me get another different over here so we can do Andrew's favorite thing. Andrew always wants to do this kind of thing. So upcoming meetup events. So what I'm not sure, do you guys know off the top of your head what the filter format is in here?
I believe it's an encoded query.
Yeah, I think it's just straight encoded query.
So do copy query from there.
All right.
And not only is that my favorite way, it also gives you your expected positive result, right? You know now how many records it's supposed to give you.
Secondary. So right now, let's just do. So we don't want the link to that page. We want behavior.
We want it to go to the.
We want it to go to the actual record. Oh, to the check-in page. The check-in page of that
event. Maybe.
Now, here's the other thing I don't know is, can we pass a sysid out of that in a simple list? That would be what we want because
there's got to be a way.
Just going to the default check-in page would actually not be horrible either,
Okay.
though. Like, as just a first pass, like,
Okay. Wait, here's the other thing.
getting us there is better than nothing.
So if you guys remember, when the check-in page comes up, it's empty, and then there's a drop-down to select the
Right.
check-in.
There is.
And when you do that, that refreshes. I'm not 100% sure that as that widget is currently constructed and as that page is constructed, if you can pass in a SysID.
Yeah, it may not be configured for that at the moment.
That would actually be a nice enhancement, which is to say, if there is a SysID in the page, pass it to the widget. And if there is a SysID, don't bother with the selection process. Go directly to that thing so that we can.
But yeah, I'm not sure that widget is ready to accept it. But just getting us to the page is a good victory for today.
All right. So let's save this here. What we should see, we know that we have at least three-ish. 3 in the next week. That's actually what the check-in widget looks for, is in the future within the next 3 weeks.
So go adjust your list query for that.
First 5 of 18.
And do we have 18 in our tab 3?
18 in our tab 3. We have 18. Look at that.
There you go. So now change the query to be the same query as the widget, which is in the next. I think it's the next
event time,
3 or 5 days or something.
After
before
for next week. Is that the beginning or end of next week? I know how to find out.
No, you lose your third argument if you change the second one.
Next week. Let us see.
Where did
3 or not 3?
Upcoming go? Did you change status up? Did.
I did. Oh. All right.
Filter fun.
7-7.
15.
7-7. So that's a little. Wait.
Status is up.
There's a bunch of
there's a bunch of old data in here.
Everything before you need
I
after
need it
now
after today. Yes.
or after yesterday. How about after yesterday?
Yeah.
And I'll go clean up this crap.
Yeah. There were this is why. This is the dev system.
Oh,
that's
true.
And we don't all
But
the scheduled
still.
jobs that do because the scheduled job that changes that is also the same scheduled job that is syncing to Meetup, which does not run on the dev system. That's why it's actually not a huge problem, but it's not. So we could probably assume the data is safe on the production environment because
you could also belt and suspenders the thing and put the
exactly. We can still. It doesn't hurt to add it, even though in production, this is probably not a big problem.
Yeah. The only thing is, if none of our data meets that criteria, then it will be
you
hard
want at or after yesterday?
At or after. Thank you.
Not today.
Still today.
Yesterday.
That's close enough.
But so,
and also we don't have any of the data because
we'll add that. We'll add that extra criteria. So just take off the event time one. So just go click the status upcoming in your breadcrumb.
Click the status upcoming.
Yeah, that deletes everything to the right.
Right click on it and then copy that query and put it in your widget.
Let's get back to here. Some of this is me getting slightly impatient with the UI. All right.
So I want to know if that's okay. So it's got JavaScript in there, which is good.
All right. So that's our
hilariously at Knowledge. I think I was 16. We had a friend from London come to Knowledge 16 who was a brand new developer in our ecosystem, and they learned 16 things about breadcrumbs at Knowledge 16.
I'm trying to think if I know 16 things about breadcrumbs.
And now we say hilarious things about breadcrumbs and him learning breadcrumbs still to this day because he learned 16 things about breadcrumbs. Knowledge 16.
Let's do this. Let's just take. Let's just.
So did you get 15?
I got 5 of 15. Yes.
Good.
Awesome.
That's victory.
Filter's working, and you click, and where does it go? We got to do a preview.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it in the page, the actual page. So, and again, we're preview. Let's just do preview. That's good enough. All right. So here's our preview. We click this. That's that is a problem. This is the deep linking problem.
Yeah. So that thinks you actually had like a real one.
Let's do something different because I think this might actually be an artifact of the preview. Let's actually go to
load the actual
content page, because I think we might have a context mismatch in that preview. So this is the actual page.
Well, and you could have hit the individual person check-in part.
Let's see what happens with this. No, it's still going to that. This is an individual person. Because here's the deal. It is in fact trying. Oh, it is trying. Well, so look at that.
Oh, it's trying the see if you pull that off. What happens if you just pull that content off there?
If I do this is
hold
on a second.
In fact, I said this to someone else just this week. The amount of things that you can learn from the URL string
it's crazy.
when you're building something is amazing. So you take that, copy that string, take that and copy it, throw it in your Sublime or whatever. Now navigate to an event, copy that, see what they're different, and now you know what to feed your widget properly.
Yep. All right.
Paste.
Because this is what we're feeding it right now. Now go
so you'll notice. So this is content landing. Content landing page is passing it a bunch of weird stuff. So how are we loading the check-in widget? So the content landing page is
that's going to be over to the right more.
That widget, SL table, SN dev meet group
equals some sys
equals spa 26 SPA. Am I gonna have to go into the code of the check-in widget? SysID is this is the 3D something
3D is equals.
3D is equals one something.
Percent 23 is some meta character.
Right. And then 5.1 after that is a sys.
So 5.1 is probably the beginning of the sysID.
Yeah.
Yep. So now navigate to the actual event page.
The event check-in page.
The event check-in page.
And check that URL.
And select one of those and see what URL that is.
This one went to
this one won't work because we got to do a little something with the data because none of them will work
because we need to massage a date. So change the date to tomorrow.
The widget's too smart for us.
Yeah.
Well, it does look, because it actually is. This was a UX thing. Is we kind of honed that down to 1 week being kind of the reasonable list there. And
what did?
Oh, this is Meetup. This is Meetup Home. This is not Meetup Check-in.
Meetup Check-in.
We don't want Meetup Check-in. We want Meetup. This one is called Meetup. Wait, what?
Still taking you to Meetup Home. Something's up with that.
I have a feeling I screwed up my own system here.
We were just looking at it.
We were looking at Meetup Home. The check-in page is Meetup Home. So we got 2 problems here.
You messed with Meetup Home?
I messed with Meetup Home thinking it was the wrong.
You cleared it out.
Thing. Yes, I did. All right.
You need to revert that.
Yes, I do.
Undo.
As a matter of fact.
Undo.
As a matter of fact, service portal, Meetup check-in. So the difference between check-in and Meetup Home. So what I did was I thought check-in was the live page and I changed it, and Meetup Home is the live page.
Meetup Home is the.
So what we're going to do is get rid of this. My widget back.
Why don't you actually go to the content record, like the actual record for that, and revert it, the versioning?
I can. Let's go.
Because
if it's got versioning turned on,
it should.
Should being the keyword.
Let's see. Content landing updated. That's interesting. Is it Meetup Home updated 2018 with 3?
That may not have been updated though. You're not modifying things on that page. You're
Yeah,
doing
you're
like
modifying a
Oh,
widget inside of the. Yeah.
Ooh, versioning could get us deep in
I
here.
think
with the right
I
list.
think it's going to be much easier to just
Easier to just add it back. All right.
easier to add the thing back
Okay.
because it is literally
Dropping the thing in there.
dragging the thing back in there. Yeah.
I will go
Except-
look at the live one and see if there's anything else while you're doing that.
Go look at the live one on the production site, you mean? Or
Yeah.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, you can do your thing, and I'll just make
you will
sure.
do that while I do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Did I delete this? I could have swore I said. Oh, I didn't. I'm not in the right scope. That was what I was doing over here. Developer meetup. So now we're back on the same scope problems. Get to the page. Let's delete this. Let's put my widget back. And my widget is check in. It is literally, it is basically a pass through. And let's go back here now. If we go back to Meetup Home, you should see something. However, interestingly enough, I've got two things, don't I, Andrew? I need also or this is, you know what? This is the wrong widget because I think it possibly is Meetup attendee check-in.
Good naming standards, kids.
I believe what the deal is check-in is Todd's from back in the era. There we are.
That looks more like it.
That looks
That
like the right
looks
thing.
like the thing. All right. So if we reload this page over here, that was a false positive. All right. So we're getting much better. So now
Now we need
It's
to
not recognizing a
get our-
future meeting.
let's get our data back to where we need it.
I thought we had the one tomorrow.
Did you check the filtering on that instance of that?
Oh,
You
widget
you
config
need to
on this
edit
thing.
the widget config on that, right?
That's where you could do like a.
Config
Oh,
on this one. So this is not a simple. This is not a simple list config, right? This
but
is
it might
not-
have its own configuration.
I'm pretty sure
It doesn't appear
have
to.
any configuration.
Doesn't appear to.
No, that's all in the code of the widget.
Yep.
So if we go down to the meetup data, upcoming meetup, let's just do upcoming meetup events by date.
Check that's probably not the right field. So change the
To
Go-
event time. Oh, the date.
Yeah.
Yes, event time.
event time.
That would be the problem. I think actually there's two things
There
happening.
you go.
Unless the one that I changed, let's go ahead and change that to
Go to today.
It's killing you, isn't it?
and then I'll do that. All right, there we
There
go.
you go.
DC.
All right.
et cetera. All right. So now let's clear this guy and clear this guy. And let's go back to our content sharing, content landing. And I click any of these things, will it be? Oh, because in the link, I probably picked the wrong page. So let's go back to our, having done that, let's go back to our content
so-
sharing.
And
Mhm.
pick the right page.
Pick the correct landing page. Content landing. And now when we come over here and configure this guy, link to this behavior, check-in should be meetup check-in.
Yeah, and it looks like all we need to do to
Not
to
Meetup Home.
massage this.
Yeah, it is Meetup Home.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Andrew? All we need to do
So what we need to do to massage the actual widget is mess with the client controller to accept the thing we're passing it. But
that's
I'm
probably
sure
not
I
gonna
want to dive into that today.
12 minutes. But
Yeah.
let's out of fun. Is there a glyph that would make sense in here?
Bottom row, second from the right, left.
This
Calendar. Or third. Next one.
one? This guy? Let's do that. Just for fun while we're in there changing that. Thinking. Okay, now let me kill this guy. And let's try this again. Back this guy up. Do a full page reload just to get us roughly back to, oh, it's not going to do it. God dog it. Oh, no, it did. Great. Let's click it. Open our new thing.
Nice.
Hey,
That's good enough.
Our DC.
step in the right direction.
All right. So then let us take, is there anything else you wanted to do on this, Andrew?
The events button, I wanted to actually do something useful.
Can we?
Currently, it does nothing, or
I don't remember what it is, but it's not.
okay.
Presentation.
All I had was a pen in it that it was not what I wanted.
Okay.
I didn't get
data.
further than that in my brain.
I don't even know what this thing is. Is this a custom widget?
I have no idea.
I think it is. So let's see. Let's see if it is a widget called
Content icon link. That's a standard out of box.
It is content icon. So content icon link. So the question is, when one looks at the config for this content icon link, where is the link that one is linking the content to?
Well, look at the other three. One of them's got to be doing something, right?
Are they all doing nothing, Andrew?
I don't remember.
Um,
I am a memoryless. I am a stateful memoryless machine.
oh, here's the deal. They're iframing this thing in. It is working. Look at that.
But that's not I want it to show me events in the future.
It is. This is probably filtering on upcoming.
Okay. Well, they're not.
Oh, no.
ordered.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that's
I want ordered.
Order in the court.
The question is, what in the heck is, I don't know what that thing is doing to make that happen. Do you? Content icon link, and it's changing
The content pane.
the content paid. That one. So if we reload this page, we get, so it's got that filter and the thing down there. So is it rewriting? Here's what I can't tell is it rewriting this one? So if we do that, is it pushing knowledge down and knowledge still exists?
No, it's
rewriting
changing
that. Interesting. So where is that happening? Who configures that this content pane changes? Is that what? Let's look at this. Is that actually maybe content? When we do content pane, is that just the default? And that if we do content, it goes back to what that is? Yes. Okay. So this is the default thing, but these four things are driving that. So now the question is, something is configuring. I personally
have to bring up the widget editor on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally have never. Question is this out of the box, or is this?
I believe it's out of the box, but
Might be cloned.
might be cloned.
All right, let us do widget editor. And I have a hard time finding the widget editor any other way than this.
You do you, sir.
This is how I do it. This could very well be non-optimal, and yet this is always how I do it.
So content
list,
Content
and
icon link.
content pane, content icon.
part of the content sharing.
Part of content sharing. These are
This might be custom.
Content Content share. Yeah, these are all custom. Okay, so let's look at what the heck is happening in this guy.
So that's the instance with link, which is feeding data to the content
Feeding
page.
data. It's probably broadcasting something. So this might be because this is built by our that team in Norway. Is that the guys, or are they? I think this is the team in Norway, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Norway folks.
So they're broadcasting the name of the widget, broadcast name, some JSON information. Where does that JSON information live? So option schema. Let's open this in widget editor.
It's a c.option.name.
c.option.name.
So somewhere there's an option, there's a broadcast name in there that we can configure.
What?
But where?
Broadcast name, I'm sorry.
That's
where-
probably the name of the instance of that widget.
Yep.
Well, let's look at the other. Yeah, let's look at the other thing because the
Because there's 4 instances of that, because there's 4 icons. And they're each sending a different unique
yeah. Let's see
thing.
what that thing and content pane, is that what that thing is? I think it's
Yes.
content pane. Let's see what that thing is doing because it's clearly getting a query from somewhere, and it's not obvious to me where that's coming from. Let's get rid of that. That's least important to us. Widget changed. If the widget has changed, you get the widget, you load the console log, data widget, you get the widget, trigger, widget, console log, server update. I'm not sure I understand that.
Yeah, there's the scope.on to respond to MUIcon trigger at the top.
So I understand why it's changing when it does. What I don't understand is how it knows what to show. Current data is the widget.
It's going to come in through the event data. So your scope.on has the function which receiving the 2 parameters, event and data. And then on line 10, it says current data equals data.
Right.
And it's pulling out the eWidget property from that.
Which is this thing, which is the one that changed because that came from here.
Yep. It's saying display this widget.
What I'm saying is so display this widget converts into somewhere down there, converts into this thing. And that's
Right.
the
Yeah. Where is it actually?
where is
knowledge base with that filter on it? Like,
Correct.
where is that built?
where is it getting that? So widget, is that mean
It's getting it through the broadcast.
You're right.
The event has
Okay.
the parameters that it's sending through, which is done on the instance options.
so it's
The widget option.
well here's the deal. Let's do this.
So if you open up like the Meetups widget, you'll see it has an option that's going to, well, that's cool.
Let's
Somebody's
do
not
this.
happy.
Let's change something. Change it to contributors and then go back to my
Window.
web console. Let's just do it there. So contributor table.
Need a eWidget as an object. That wasn't very helpful. But
Broadcast name is contributors.
Site equals
eWidget.
-1. Why is it trying to recreate? It's trying to-
Contributor table. So then I
There.
believe here's the deal is it's I believe what it's saying is if we go back over here, I think we're going to find that there are all those
The instances
Contribute-
of the widgets.
contributor
Have-
table is a thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Contributor. So
go to
Content
the
contributor
content
table. Contributor table is the ID, 3rd row down.
ID is contributor table.
so what we're doing is basically swapping out that widget with this widget.
Yes. So we need to
So
make
we have
one of
four
these
we have four
for
widgets. So
events.
what we need to do is go into the event widget and make it do what we want.
Do we have an
Yes.
event widget?
We
I don't think
got
we have an
to
event
because
widget that we can drop in there.
No,
We-
we've
that's-
got, it has to be
it has
one
to-
because
it has
it's
to be
showing
one.
things.
because
Oh, okay.
we just
How
don't
about
know what it's
contains?
called. I know how to figure that out. Let's change to it.
Yeah.
And
And
log message says
a
lot more.
So it's got more data. So
okay.
Contributors, and
We're
then
looking
down
for
here,
eWidget name.
I think we went up too high.
Yeah.
See that
it's in
eWidget.
one of those because you clicked it a couple. eWidget parent query sysd egg table.
name, group data table.
Meetup. And then there's a
So does it look like, so it's passing group. So it's using group data table, right? Child table, KB knowledge. Let me click this again to make sure I clicked the right thing.
Yeah, where are you seeing the name property?
So Jace joined late and he wants to know what we're doing, and I don't think it's a bad time to say. So we've got this portal page that has these 4 clickable icons that control which content pane is being displayed, and we want to change some of the content in one of those content panes, and we're just trying to figure out how all of it's strung together so that we can go make a change.
Right. This was built by a team in the Nordic countries and given to us, and we kind of took it, but I don't know anything about the internals of this code.
So we're reverse engineering somebody else's portal.
Yeah. Can you go back to the widget page and hit back twice for me?
Sure.
Once, and then maybe once is enough. So I want to go back to the page that we had the list of the
content widgets.
The content widgets. So that was not the one more, I guess. Yeah. And so sort on package and remove name starts with content. Right? Like I'm sorry, filter on content sharing package and then remove the name starts with. And see if there is one for events.
Group data table.
There it is.
So we saw that being passed.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and open it in the widget editor, pass it over here. So this guy, somewhere in this guy, it has the code to do that. So what we're really doing here is not changing the icon ribbon.
Right.
So you can see this is actually, so somewhere down in here, this is the stuff. And
there's the beef. We found the beef finally. Here it is.
Yeah.
As an option, it's using plenty of options, so I'd look there first.
But so actually, here's the deal: is if we go back to events, now here's what makes this tricky: is because this is dynamic, and this swaps out, and everything happens in that JSON that's packaging. You can't just click the thing
and see your results.
Configure the options. So so we can see that this is all that stuff that's happening. Like when we were looking down here, this is that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all that information is passing back and forth. So we're saying XDEM, Meetup, target URL, et cetera, et cetera. And we can see that the target URL is this KB article, blah, blah, blah. That's probably not what we want. There's some kind of filter in here that's probably that we need to change. So I think,
is there code in the widget itself that does the glide record query to get your order? Where are we pulling these records? Somewhere. Child GR next.
Right down here. Here's the encoded query.
Add query and add encoded query.
PR. Yeah, this is
okay.
This is
so we could either hard code it in here as childgr.order by something, or childgr.add order by some option.
I think probably what I would rather do is understand this well enough to figure out where it's passing this stuff.
Yeah.
If we can pass just change the encoded query, because we have encoded query stuff in here. And I think we want to figure out the source of this, which I think is probably going to be code search by Studio to figure out who's
code search isn't going to find your options though. The options are stored in a
they're not going to find. So we'll hunt it up the hard way.
Yeah.
But okay, so I think at this point, this is about the point where we got to wrap it up. But this actually,
we've got a couple minutes left.
You've got a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I've got to go very, very quickly here. So what we did is, given that we had the right data, we will get this populated. And this is we could change the encoded query to include the date, as Chuck was saying, the belt and suspenders. One can make the assumption that in production that they won't all be marked upcoming. And in general, like if you click upcoming, you're going to see the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We may, and we were just saying the next week, we may want to change that. Ideally, like to kind of future-proof this for ourselves, we may want to, now I guess this is a simple list widget. I was going to say we could add an option, but this is a built-in We're not even building this. So we could just change this to be a different thing in the option if we wanted to. But right there, this by itself, adding this one little widget basically does what Andrew's original vision was. So we want to, and so once we figure this out, slightly changes encoded query. The question being, here's the question, Andrew, what would this thing do for us that this thing doesn't? There is another option here, which is
as counters.
Just remove this thing entirely.
Well, I don't want to remove it entirely. I want it to show a greater list of them than the new check.
So you want this to be the full one?
Like maybe that's the full one.
Maybe like if this just showed, the problem being that you don't want to necessarily rebuild the list widget, but if this gave you just a little like a control up here.
Yeah, like mine or upcoming or like give me some options.
Just a check mark, just like it has filter empty.
Yep.
It does have the keyword search. So if we do that, does that work? See, that something's not right with that, because you'll notice we had Columbus and Cincinnati. I'm not sure what's driving the keyword. It might actually be the description.
Portal.
Out of fun. Let's just try portal and see. No.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah, if we make that work in some reasonable fashion, then we will have satisfied our goals. And maybe the Meetup events clicks actually takes you to that one's check-in page, but that's gravy that is unnecessary. What is a good idea is I like the idea of it on a future show is making this a mobile app as well.
Absolutely. And it is, so the check-in that I displayed before, that part is mobilized, and it is something that it's
mobile friendly, but it's not a mobile app.
Oh, it is not the mobile app. You're correct. It is a service portal widget that is like typically used either on a phone or a tablet. Right. Seldom as a laptop. But you're saying
having a mobile app is a little more overhead than usual for these things. It would just be fun to just do it for the folks who would persistently have it. But for the security guy who does this once in a blue moon, we wouldn't have the mobile app on their thing. And so we need a portal page that actually is nice.
What we might actually want to consider in the mobile app is what would be the stuff, what would be the action that a meetup organizer would need to do the day before and the day of the thing.
Right. That's the interesting bits, right? Is making
right. Is it maybe like clearing the standbys or something like that? Changing the wait list.
They could clear the standbys. They could take pictures of their receipts.
They could take a picture of the venue, take a picture of where the parking garage is, which is like when you go to a new venue.
Ooh, remind users. Thank you, Jace. So send out that notification, a reminder.
Which is, but would be like a net new functionality, right? We could do a thing that the mobile app accepts that from us, and then we do an integration with Meetup that says, Meetup, use your notification mechanism to send this reminder. That would actually be pretty fantastic, because
that would be pretty cool.
Then you're actually using, like we're using the Meetup machine with the Meetup rules, and somebody may say, don't send me an email,
Right. And we respect those from
not only do we respect them, like we don't have the email addresses because Meetup doesn't, like we couldn't notify directly if we wanted to, because Meetup doesn't give that info.
So let's stop the share.
Now the problem is finding where I drug that to.
And we will not be here next week, right? For the U.S. holiday.
I will not be here next week.
Possibly in 2 weeks.
ServiceNow is closed on Thursday, Friday of next week.
Unlike the Monday of President's Day, which is a joke in our team because I have a 50-50 chance of working that day and then realizing around noon that it's a ServiceNow
holiday.
You wake up, you get to work and go, oops.
This is where being on East Coast really hurts you. Because it's somewhere, it's like, why is no one from West Coast joining? Okay, well, I'm going to say that my yesterday's Speedway coffee, I'm going to give it a solid 1.75. That's good.
So the check, please, which is a Black Indian Pale Ale. is it's a good example of that drink. I will probably not drink that one again, even though it's got a hilarious name. So it's probably in a 3.5.
I'm going with the vanilla chamomile tea. It's probably the furthest thing from live coding happy hour you can get. As a solid 3.5. There's a reason it's in my cupboard as a regular staple.
Nice.
That's one of my go-to herbal teas.
So like we said, we won't be here next week. I probably will do at least one random live stream next week that will just broadcast as soon as I'm working on some code. But we won't do the actual live code happy hour next week. And then in the future, we're looking to do some more randomly live code shows on the stream. And
they may be Twitch only. We haven't really.
And they may be Twitch only. So we've not settled on that. We'll let the audience know when those things are more decided. But we're going to try some things out and do some things a little differently. Make sure you visit developer.servicenow.com. Get your personal developer instance.
And I'm willing to say, let's go ahead and commit to the next show. So like probably in 2 weeks, let's go ahead and do the thing where we can do the deep linking to the content check-in and set all that stuff up and figure out how to wire those guys together.
Yeah.
So one way or another, we'll be able to say, okay, I'm checking in for this. And so it could be, we could also add a UI action to the meetup. And once we have that deep linking available in the page and the widget, then we can use it from a lot of places. So that'll be what we pursue. I'm actually, it's been so long since we've done service portal stuff that I'm actually enjoying playing in there. So I want to do some more of it.
So one suggestion is to get us a live stream link on the dev portal. That's certainly something that we could look into is, like show on that site when we are live streaming.
That is a good idea, and that is an idea we will bring up. We can tell you that involves a coding effort from a team.
Yes, it certainly does.
Directly assign work to. So this involves a little bit of hat in hand. Please do this for us. So, but that is an excellent idea, like a little button that says live now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a general notification part of the developer portal that's kind of in progress. So that might actually just be part of that.
Cool. Is there anything else that you fine gentlemen would like to share with our audience today?
We've got a newsletter, developer newsletter coming out in the next week or so. So watch your mailboxes for that. A lot of good information that us and a few others have been working on. So great stuff. If you haven't caught all the details in the last few months, this is a nice wrap up with several useful links I think you'll enjoy.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, everybody. For those in the U.S., have a good holiday next week. For the rest of the world, enjoy your time without us. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.